Bonnie and Clyde, the most notorious crime couple in American history. In the midst of the Great Depression, an infamous duo captured the attention of both the public and the authorities. Bonnie Parker and Clyde Chestnut Barrow, often referred to as Bonnie and Clyde, hold the record of being the most notorious crime couple in American history. In the heart of Rowena, Texas, Bonnie was once a young woman with strawberry blonde curls framing a face described as exceptionally pretty. Despite her diminutive stature, she was known to have a big spirit. However, being born into a struggling farming family and losing her father early on, she found herself living with her grandparents alongside her mother and siblings. In high school, Parker met Roy Thornton, and the two eventually dropped out when they decided to get married. Meanwhile, Clyde, an attractive man with a head of thick brown hair, was born into a similar challenging circumstance. Like Bonnie, he craved more from life than what fate had dealt him. And so the grip of the Great Depression exacerbated the hardships, pushing those already down on their luck further into despair. According to the Federal Bureau of Investigation, or FBI, Bonnie and Clyde met in January 1930 somewhere in Texas. Then, she was already 19 and married to a convict, while he was 21 and single. Shortly after their meeting, Clyde faced arrest for burglary and was incarcerated. With Bonnie's help in smuggling a gun, he escaped but was later recaptured and returned to prison. Released on parole in February 1932, Clyde reunited with Bonnie. Together, they plunged back into a life of crime, her unwavering support fueling his determination. Later in the same year, the two started traveling alongside a young gunman, Raymond Hamilton. After several months, Hamilton departed and was replaced by William Daniel Jones. In March 1933, Clyde's brother, Buck Barrow, received a full pardon from the governor. Getting released from Texas State Prison, he swiftly joined Clyde, accompanied by his wife, Blanche, expanding the group to 5 members. This Barrow gang embarked on a spree of daring robberies, capturing national attention, and became front-page news throughout America. This was also the time when the photo of Bonnie posing with a cigar and a gun became popular. In his book, Go Down Together, The True, Untold Story of Bonnie and Clyde, Jeff Gwynne wrote, John Dillinger had matinee idol good looks and pretty boy Floyd had the best possible nickname, but the Joplin photos introduced new criminal superstars. Despite numerous encounters with law enforcement, they evaded capture, intensifying efforts to apprehend them. The Barrow gang later showed no reluctance in shooting anyone obstructing their path, be it a law enforcement officer or an unsuspecting civilian. Over time, the calculated brutality of their killings revealed the true extent of their crimes to the public, ultimately culminating in their downfall. However, during a shootout with police in Iowa on July 29, 1933, Buck suffered fatal wounds, and Blanche was apprehended. While in November 1933, Jones, often mistaken for Pretty Boy Floyd, was captured in Houston, Texas, by the sheriff's office. Still, Bonnie and Clyde continued their criminal endeavors. Later in November, the Dallas sheriff and deputies aimed to capture the infamous crime couple, setting up a trap set near Grand Prairie, Texas. Despite the officers' gunfire, the two escaped, seizing a lawyer's car on the highway, which they later abandoned in Miami, Oklahoma. January 16, 1934, marked the liberation of 5 prisoners, including Raymond Hamilton, from Eastham State Prison Farm in Waldo, Texas. Bonnie and Clyde orchestrated the escape, and using previously concealed automatic pistols, the escaping prisoners shot 2 guards. Their journey spiraled further into danger as the body count rose, and the intensity of their crimes escalated. Escaping capture became a daily struggle, often leaving witnesses behind, but managing to stay a step ahead of the law by operating near state borders. On April 1, 1934, Bonnie and Clyde encountered 2 young highway patrolmen near Grapevine, Texas, swiftly shooting them before the officers could draw their guns. Five days later, in Miami, Oklahoma, they fatally wounded a constable and abducted a police chief, also injuring him. While the FBI's jurisdiction was limited to the charge of transporting a stolen automobile, their agents were relentlessly active. Pursuing every lead, they distributed comprehensive wanted notices containing fingerprints, photographs, descriptions, criminal records, and other details to all law enforcement. Tracking the Barrow gang across multiple states, particularly Louisiana, agents discovered their association with Henry Methvin and his family, realizing that Bonnie and Clyde were using a car stolen in New Orleans. By April 13th, 1934, an FBI agent investigating near Ruston, Louisiana, obtained credible information placing Bonnie and Clyde in a remote area southwest of the town. Connecting with the Methvin family's home nearby, the agent uncovered visits by the notorious pair. Simultaneously, special agents in Texas traced Clyde and his companions' travels, often accompanied by Henry Methvin, into Louisiana. With a joint effort between the FBI and local law enforcement in Louisiana and Texas, the focus intensified on capturing Bonnie and Clyde, strongly believed to be in the area. Intelligence indicated that the duo, along with some Methvins, hosted a gathering at Black Lake, Louisiana, on the night of May 21st, 1934, planning to return to the region 2 days later. Before dawn on May 23rd, 1934, a posse composed of police officers from Louisiana and Texas, including Texas Ranger Frank Hamer, concealed themselves in bushes along the highway near Sales, Louisiana. In the early daylight, Bonnie and Clyde appeared in an automobile, and when they attempted to drive away, the officers opened fire. The infamous couple were killed instantly. According to some accounts, some tried to cut off parts of Bonnie and Clyde at the scene of their deaths. In Gwynn's book, it was stated that someone tried to cut off Clyde's ear with a pocket knife while another attempted to sever his trigger finger. Among the crowd, some successfully cut locks of Bonnie's hair and strips of her dress, soaked in blood. It was reported that 2 weeks before her death, Bonnie, who had loved poetry since she was young, gave a poem to her mother entitled The Trail's End that finished with the verse,
"Someday they'll go down together, and they'll bury them side by side. To a few it'll be grief, to the law relief, but it's death for Bonnie and Clyde."
The duo, however, were buried separately. And while love was there and Bonnie stood by Clyde up to the end of their time, she never divorced her ex-husband, and reports said she was wearing his wedding ring before her demise. She also had a tattoo on the inside of her right thigh with 2 interconnected hearts labeled Bonnie and Roy. In the end, Bonnie and Clyde's legacy is a multifaceted one, a blend of fact and fiction, romanticism and harsh reality. Their story remains a cautionary tale of the consequences of a life of crime, but also a reflection of the struggles and challenges faced by many during a difficult period in American history. The name Bonnie and Clyde lives on, forever etched into the pages of criminal lore and the collective memory of a nation. And with that, we have come to the end of our video. Please don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and click that notification bell. This is Ben saying, see you next time.